gonna learn a couple more. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fucking class war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Canada's a racist state. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fucking class war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Canada's a racist state. Woo, yeah. That's an oldie. Yeah. All right. We didn't cross the border. The border crossed us. We didn't cross the border. The border crossed us. We didn't cross the border. The border crossed us. We didn't cross the border. The border crossed us. Yeah. All right, one more. I think you guys know this one. No justice, no peace, no racist police. No justice, no peace, no racist police. No justice, no peace, no racist police.
Yeah! That's what's up!
Alright, my name is Maya and I'm one of the organizers with Power Shift Young and Rising. I'm a member of known as Illegal Toronto, a settler, an accomplice on these territories, and I do not believe in borders. Today we come together in defiance of environmental racism, colonization, capitalism, fascism, and injustice. In November, I was in Toronto co-organizing the counter demo against white supremacist Steve Bannon and racist warmonger David Front. Watching as thousands of wealthy, affluent elites gathered to hear a discussion about whether or not racialized and poor people are worthy of life and justice. Shame! Shame! Whether we are deserving of dignity is a conversation that they watch for sport. In December, I was in Katowice, Poland at the United Nations Climate Summit. I watched as big oil and coal and all the politicians in their pocket work to perpetuate disaster capitalism. Shame! Shame! They create mechanisms to abandon the global south while sea levels rise and negotiate the systemic dehumanization of poor, racialized, and indigenous peoples as the climate crisis looms. Shame! Shame! In so-called Canada, the Environment and Climate Change Minister, Catherine McKenna, spends most of her time at the Climate Summit in meetings with big oil and gas. Shame! No time for consultations with Indigenous communities. No time to speak about displacement of migrants and refugees. No time to speak about free, prior, and informed consent on stolen times, and no time for justice. But in the lead up to the approval of the Trans Mountain Pipeline, the Trudeau Liberals met with oil and gas lobby every single day. Shame! This government cares more about corporate investments in climate destruction on the backs of Indigenous, Black, racialized, and poor communities here than it does about a survivable future for us all. Shame! Shame! To quote the Sunrise Movement, we need the real solutions to the climate crisis as mandated by science and justice. We demand a livable future. That means a good work guarantee and access to jobs for all. That means livable wages for all people, housing, access to healthcare and childcare, a free education and free public transit, and no worker left behind. That means use strong unions and workers' rights. Legislating workers back to work is a direct attack on a just transition. We want the dangerous armed gang, also known as the police, out of our communities. The police do not make us safer. Defund, disarm, and shutting down the police is environmental racism justice. We need open borders, pathways to status for all those fleeing Canadian mining, genocide, climate disaster, imperialism, and war. Nobody can be illegal on stolen land, and we demand the freedom to move, the freedom to return, and the freedom to stay. We demand and support Indigenous sovereignty now, the free, prior, and informed consent of peoples. We demand the ratification of UNDRIP. Corporate and state agents have no rights on stolen lands. We are in solidarity with land and water defenders everywhere. There is no climate justice without Indigenous rights. Today we're going to take to the streets in solidarity with each other, and we take to the streets to show this government and these corporate elites that our movements are always in solidarity with each other, and that we understand that our liberation is shared. From the front lines to the city streets, we will stand hand in hand fighting for climate justice together. main banner. We also want Indigenous, Black, and Brown folks at the front. Come up to the front. Awesome. You want to give the information? And again, if you have a no one is illegal sign, you're going to find the big, beautiful no one is illegal sign with the frog, and you're going to cluster around that one. If you have separate oil and state, you're going to cluster around that big, tall sign. And if you have good jobs, ... go around that frog, please. So we're going to start moving. People want to start walking up the front, and we're going to keep chants going as we go. So if the first banner wants to come. If you need hot hands, marshals have them. Hot packs. 4 hot hands. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. All right, we're gonna move up this front line. Let's go.
Together. Let's go. White team.
No justice. No racist. Police. No justice. No peace. No racist. Police. No justice. No peace. No racist. Police. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Show me what community looks like. This is what community looks like. Slow down. All right. Gotta let people catch up with you. You're all like ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Tall and strong.
What are those things? They're hot pads right now. B5 from Colonial State, here we go! 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 You go.
How are we doing this part? Guys,
we're gonna go this way. Oh man. All right. Getting out of your soccer, but we're going left down Wellington.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah, left down Wellington.
Okay, so we're going through here.
1, 2, 3, 4. This is fucking class war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Canada's a racist state.
1, 2, 3, 4. This is fucking class war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Canada's a racist state. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fucking class war.
5, 6, 7, 8. Canada's a racist state.
Canada's a racist state. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fucking class war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Canada's a racist state. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fucking class war.
Hi everyone, this is Marielle from Indigenous Climate Action. We're here with Power Shift Young and Rising. We just had 3 days of conferences where youth took workshops and listened to panels and keynote speakers from really influential, amazing people from the movement. And they are now taking action. This is the action that they take at the end of the 3 days of conferences and panels. They're all youth between the ages of 18 to 25, and they're taking action, demanding climate justice. justice, demanding and implementing UNDRIP, demanding a new Green New Deal, calling out Canada for it being a colonial state. I'm going to be live streaming throughout the day. I'm going to keep going for a little bit, and then we're going to have some amazing speeches and panels by Clayton Thomas Mueller, Cedar George Parker right at the end, and more. So stay tuned. I'll probably go in and out, so keep checking back on the page. I'm going to turn you back around. No racist! Police! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! No justice! Police! No racist! Police! Woo! Police! No justice! No peace! No racist! Police! We're gonna hold the front! Hold the front! Some amazing signs. They were put together by Isaac Murdoch and Christy Belcourt helped us put these together.
This is what community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what
Community looks like.
Show me what community looks like.
This is what community looks like.
Indigenous rights under attack. What do we do?
Rise up, fight back.
All the youth helped put these signs together under the mentorship of Christy Belcourt and Isaac Murdoch.
What do we do? Rise up, fight back. Rise up, fight back. Rise up, fight back.
We're on unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory, also known as Ottawa, in the colonial state so-called Canada.
All right, we're gonna leave some more chants right now. So, for our future, for our life, for this planet climate strike, for our future, for our life, for our planet climate strike, for our future, for our life, for this planet climate strike, for our future, for our life, for this planet climate strike. A couple other ones, yo. We young, we rising, we shifting all this power, we cutting off these dinosaurs. The future is ours. We young, we rising, we shifting all this power, we cutting off these dinosaurs. The future is ours. We young, we rising, we
Some of the youth at the front, they came in with the Frontline Fund. Some incredible youth from all around Turtle Island who are already doing actions and frontline work in their communities.
All right, let's try another one. Divided we stand, united we stand. No one is illegal on stolen land. Divided we stand, united we stand. No one is illegal on stolen land. Divided we stand, united we stand. No one is illegal on stolen land. Divided we stand, united we stand. No one is illegal on stolen land. Divided we stand, united we stand. No one is illegal on stolen land. Divided we fail, united we stand. No one is illegal on stolen land. All right. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. All right. Y'all ready for this? You want another one? All right. No pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children. 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 No pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children! No pipelines, no prisons! Freedom for our children! All right! So we're tying together the Green New Deal and migrant rights and indigenous sovereignty and climate action. So let's tie this thing together in a chant right now. Green New Deal and migrant rights. Youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights. Youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights. Youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights. Youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights. Youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights. Youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights.
Change the system! Change the system! Change the system! Change the system! Change the system!
Government without entropy! RDS! ISG! This government without entropy! RDS! ISG! Government without entropy! We
climate has no borders. The climate has no nations. Let's unite to stop the pollution and the exploitation. Yo, hold on. Yo, one more time. Let's finish off. The climate has no borders.
The climate has no borders.
The climate has no nations.
The climate has no nations.
Together, let's unite to stop pollution and displacement.
Together, let's unite to stop pollution and displacement.
The climate has no borders.
The climate has no borders.
The climate has no nations.
The climate has no nations.
Together, let's unite to stop pollution and displacement.
Together, let's unite to stop pollution and displacement.
The climate has no borders.
The climate has no borders.
The climate has no nations.
Getting some support.
They can't stop the revolution. We are the climate solution. They can't stop the revolution.
We are the climate solution.
They can't stop the revolution.
We are the climate solution.
They can't stop the revolution. We are the climate solution. They can't stop the revolution.
We are the climate solution.
They can't stop the revolution.
We are the climate solution.
They can't stop the revolution.
We are the climate solution.
Can't stop the revolution.
We are the climate solution.
All right, another one. Yo, we young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
We cutting off these dinosaurs. The future is
I'm
ours.
here.
We young, we rising, we shifting all this power. We cutting off these dinosaurs. The future is ours. We young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
We young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
We cutting off these dinosaurs. The future is ours.
We cut off the
Environmental history capital the kid up, but they need to check themselves and get
Green
things
New
right.
Deal and migrant rights. The youth will rise.
No new
Climate
fossil
strike.
fuels, 100% renewables, and full partnership with indigenous peoples. Legislative action guaranteeing every worker jobs in the new economy.
Green New Deal and migrant rights. The youth will rise. Green New Deal and migrant rights. The youth will rise. Green New Deal and migrant rights. The youth will rise. Green New Deal and migrant rights. The youth will rise.
Climate strikes.
Green New Deal and migrant rights. The youth will rise.
Climate strikes.
Green New Deal and migrant rights. The youth will rise.
Climate strike.
All right. Let's do another like small one. Green New Deal, time to heal. Green New Deal, time to heal.
Green New Deal. Time to heal.
Green New Deal,
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 Time to heal.
Green New Deal!
Time to heal.
Yeah!
no pipelines, no prisons, freedom for our children. No
Pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children.
No pipelines!
No prisons. Freedom for our children.
One cool thing about this conference, our media team, we're all youth, getting mentored.
Freedom for our children. No pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children. No pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children. No pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children. No no prisons. Freedom for our children. No pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children. No pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children. No pipelines, no prisons. Freedom for our children.
Water is life.
Water is life.
Water is sacred.
Water is sacred.
Stop the pipeline.
Stop the pipeline.
Stop the hatred.
Stop the hatred.
Water is life.
Water is life.
Water is sacred.
Water is sacred.
Stop the pipeline.
Stop the pipeline.
Stop the hatred.
Stop the hatred.
Water is life.
Water is life.
Water is sacred.
Water is sacred.
Stop the pipeline.
Stop the pipeline.
Stop the hatred.
Stop the hatred.
Water is life.
Water is life.
Water is sacred.
Stop the pipeline.
Stop the hatred.
Water is life.
Water is sacred.
Stop the pipeline.
Stop the hatred.
Water is life.
Water is sacred.
Today, capitalism, young people taking action, changing the world.
Separate oil and state.
Stop the pipeline. Stop the hate.
Stop the pipeline. Stop the hate.
Separate oil and state.
Stop the
Separate water and state.
Separate oil and state.
Stop the pipeline. Stop the hate.
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 Shut it down. Shut it down.
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 Leave that oil all in the ground.
Leave that oil in the ground.
Leave that oil all in the ground.
Leave that oil in the ground.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
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 Leave that oil all in the ground.
Leave that oil in the ground.
Leave that oil all in the ground.
Leave that oil in the ground.
All right, yo. We young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
We young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
We cutting off these dinosaurs, the future is ours.
We cutting off these dinosaurs, the future is ours.
We young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
We young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
We cutting off these dinosaurs, the future is ours.
We cutting off these dinosaurs, the future is ours.
We young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
We young, we rising, we shifting all this power.
We cutting off these dinosaurs, the future is ours.
We cutting off these dinosaurs, the future is ours.
They can't stop the revolution.
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 We are the climate solution.
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 Green New Deal and migrant rights, the youth will rise. Green New Deal and migrant rights, the youth will rise.
Climate strike.
Leading this march are Indigenous youth from frontline communities who are already taking action and doing frontlines work.
Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights, the youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights, the youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights, the youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights, the youth will rise. Climate strike. Green New Deal and migrant rights, the youth will rise. Climate strike.
This is what community looks like.
This is what community looks like. This is what community looks like. This is what community looks like.
As you can see, we have some youth. They are taking part in Power Shift, Young and Rising, and now we are taking an action together. They just had 3 days of workshops, panels, learning from the most influential climate movement people in the world on Turtle Island.
Having a good experience?
It's been an incredible experience. So many connections made. I'm going to sign off for now, but we're going to be having some speeches in a little bit, so I will come back on for that, so keep a lookout. All right, bye for now.